Hello, myself Sunanda Biradar. Now I'd like to go for the module 5 under that secondary storage structures. The main topics covered here are overview of mass storage structure, disk attachment, scheduling management, and swap space management. So in this particular video we are going to look on first three sections, that is basic overview, disk structure, then disk attachment. We have certain scheduling algorithms that will discuss in next video lecture, followed by disk management and swap space management. So the main objectives of this particular chapter are to study the physical structure of secondary storage devices and its effects on the users of the device, and also explain about the performance characteristics of mass storage devices, different mass storage devices, evaluating disk scheduling algorithms, and to discuss about operating system services provided for mass storage, including the RAID structure. So in overview of mass storage structure, magnetic disks are the one of them which are providing the bulk storage among the secondary storage of modern computers. These drives rotate at the speed of 60 to 250 times per second. We are going to look on few parameters here. One of them is, which are highlighted in blue color here, you can observe transfer rate. This is the rate at which the data flows between the drive and the computer. Then we have positioning time. This is also called as random access time. It is the time to move the disk arm to a particular cylinder, that we also called as a seek time, and time for the desired sector to rotate under the disk head. So what is this seek time? That is the disk cylinder sector that we are supposed to look into the next slide about the structure. In that we can come to know head crash is another term here, which results from disk head making contact with the disk surface. So that leads to failure of the particular magnetic disk, because when it is crashed, when it is touching the surface of the disk, then it is getting spoiled, and that what we call as a head crash. So disks are removable, you can replace them. Drive is attached to the computer through IO bus. Buses can be of different type. You might have heard about ATA, SATA. Apart from that, you also have EIDE, USB, SCI, SAS, FireWire. Then host controller in computer uses the bus to talk to disk controller built into drive or storage array. So we'll see the structure of the magnetic tape, where it is also showing the mechanism of head movement. You can observe we have a number of cylindrical structures here. A common spindle is there, to which all these cylindrical structures are placed into it. So we call them as a cylinder. Each cylinder has a number of sectors like this, and it has number of tracks as well. Number of tracks like track 1, track 2, track C. Then you have a entire thing we call as a cylinder. This is track 1, track 2, track 3. In individual track you have the number of sectors. So this entire structure is attached to the arm. This arm is holding like this. This is the head, arm head, through which it is doing a read-write operation. So we call it as a read-write head, and this entire structure is attached to an arm assembly. So we'll have a look on another secondary storage device, that is the hard disk. Here it is the description about the hard disk. Before moving to that, we'll see the theoretical details here. The platters are ranging from 85 inch to 14 inch. Commonly are available with 3.5 inch, 2.5 inch and 1.8 inches sizes of the hard disk. It ranges from, the capacity ranges from 30 gigabyte to 3 terabyte per drive. The performance is measured in terms of several performance parameters here, like transfer rate, is theoretically 6 gigabytes per second. Effective transfer rate in real time is actually 1 GB per second. Seek time, that is how much amount of time it takes to go to the actual location, that varies between 3 to 12 milliseconds. 9 millisecond is common for desktop drives. Average seek time is measured or calculated based on one third of the tracks. Latency is based on the spindle speed, that is the rod like structure which is present in the center that moves. So latency is based on that. How do you calculate is 1 divided rpm by 60, that is rpm is rotations per minute, so we are converting it into seconds. So the rotations per minute is taken to the denominator, 60 is coming on the top. So average latency is half of the latency. Seek time means what? That is, as I said, if you want to move to a particular track in the sector, then the amount of time taken. Here one example is given. Say you are reading some data from 0th track 4th sector. Okay, you receive the instruction to read from, you are reading, currently you are at 0th track and 4th sector, and you are receiving the instruction to read the data at 2nd track and 5th sector. The time it takes for you to move from current track to the new track, that is from track 0 to track 2, that we call as a seek time. Then what is latency? Once after reaching the track 2, the head, you realize the head is above the first sector, you will have to wait till the disk rotates to the 5th sector, so that you can start reading from 2.5. See, the disk arm is also able to move. This arms, you have to move from here to here, and the spindle is making the particular sector to come below the that particular read write head. Okay, so that time we call it as a latency, right? So this is how we can find the seek time and the latency. So there is certain calculation here. Access latency, which is equal to average access time, that includes average seek time plus average latency. Both are added. That is how much time is taken to move to a particular track, and within the track how much time it takes to go for the particular sector. That's what we call as a the sum of these two we call as access latency or average access time. So for fastest disk it is ranging 3 plus 2, that is 5 milliseconds. For slow disk it is up to 14.56 milliseconds. Average IO time is the sum of all this. You can just observe the formula here. Average access time, that is this sum of average seek time plus latency, plus amount to transfer divided by transfer rate, plus controller overhead. That is, in order to perform this task, some overhead is needed. Overhead will be included. So sum of all these will give you average IO time, that is amount of time taken to perform the IO operations. Here is an example. To transfer a 4 kilobytes of block on a 7200 rpm disk with a 5 milliseconds of average seek time, 1 gigabytes per second transfer rate with a 0.1 millisecond controller overhead. What is the average IO time? So the way we are going to add it is 5 millisecond is the average seek time, plus 4.17 milliseconds is 4.17 plus 0.1 plus transfer time. So these all have been added. So the total transfer time is given in terms of gigabytes per second. So this has to be converted we are calculating how much time is required to transfer a 4 kilobyte block. So what we are doing is transfer time we are calculating in terms of kilobytes per kilobytes, amount of time required to transfer 4 kilobytes of data. So this, when you convert this into in terms of kilobytes, you are getting 0.031 millisecond. So total average IO time for 4 KB block is 9.27 milliseconds plus 0.031 milliseconds. Total you will get it as 9.301 millisecond. So 9.27 is sum of